So let's talk about the topic of fundraising groups. Fundraising groups, they're just regular groups, but they have some specific use cases which are pretty cool. So take this for example. This is actually just a group and it has a whole bunch of custom attributes that have been created for it. Now all this comes out of the box ready for you. But with this block here, we just tie it to the group that we're looking at. And so it's, in this case, raising money for a mission trip. So based on this, we have certain things like when's the trip, where's the location, what's a summary to it. We automatically give you some social sharing buttons. And then we have things like the trip detail. Now there's block settings here that are displaying all this, but there's also other there's group attributes that are displaying all this information, but there's also group attributes that are controlling a lot of how this is being displayed, like should the trip have updates. And these trip updates are actually just a content channel, so you can link your group to a content channel and that's how it'll get its updates. And you can enable or disable commenting. So if I were to drop on this page, I have a couple things I could do. One, I could find out about the opportunity. Second thing is I could actually register for this. So this would launch event registration for this opportunity. And it already tells you if the registration is open, if there's going to be a wait list, it'll warn you of that. And it tells you how many spots are left available. So those are two things I can do. Find out more information, register, but I could also donate to a participant who's going on this trip. And that's really one of the major use cases for this feature. So if I was logged in as a specific person who's going on the trip, so in this case Ted Decker's logged into the external website, he's already been registered for this trip. He would actually see the same page, but he'd see this new bar in here too that kind of shows him his progress in raising funds for this trip. And then from here he can do a few things. If he's a leader of the trip, he can actually get into the leader toolbox for this trip. But he can also make a payment. So if he wants to actually add money to his fundraising, he can go ahead and do that. Or he can link to a special page just for him that he can share out with his friends. And that's what this page kind of looks like. So from here he can add his own custom welcome. He can see, everybody can see his fundraising status. And if it's him, it'll say make payment. If it's one of his friends, it'll say donate to the trip. And so now they're able to go in here and start donating right to the trip. Since Ted's the one who's logged in, he can go ahead and edit his profile here and add some information about update this summary. But he can also disable this if he doesn't want to be fundraising with his friends. He just wants to use this as kind of an update where they can come down here and get updates. And there's a quick copy the profile link to the clipboard, which allows them to easily share that link. But also these social media icons will help do that also. Now, if he is logged in, he can come down in here and he can see who's contributed to his fundraising trip. So it kind of allows him to see who he might need to be writing thank you letters to. Starting in version 7, you'll be able to do anonymous giving here. So these people may be giving anonymously. Now the key about that anonymous is actually Rock and the system knows who gave it, so they'll still get a contribution statement, but the anonymous will keep Ted from knowing who was the actual person behind that gift. So this gives this person a lot of great tools to be fundraising with. Now, if someone were to go from the detail page and want to donate to a participant, it'll know which fundraising opportunity they're donating to and allow them to pick the participant that they want to donate to. So this really simplifies the whole process of giving to a participant of the trip. Now, oftentimes you'll get checks through the mail or maybe some cash that you need to apply to these folks and their trip. So there is a special fundraising matching. So you'll pick a batch, an open batch, and then for each of the transactions in that batch, you can match it to a fundraising group and then a group member from that group. So this allows you to quickly tie these financial transactions to those fundraising group members. Now what we showed you was really all in the context of a mission trip. This can be used in a lot of different ways. It could be used for interns raising funds for their summer, maybe helping, Or maybe if you have a residency program and those students need to be raising their own funds, you can use it for that amount. So don't be limited to just thinking it's just for funding mission trips.